Jack, was it much the same with you once you actually started the flying part of the course and getting involved in aircraft?
Well, we did very little flying at Ballarat. They had a couple of Ansons there, and I think I went up 3 times. It could have been 4, but that was all. But one of my friends, he was supposed to wind in the aerial, which was about 400 feet flying behind the craft, and he didn't do it. So he was sent to a punishment camp in Sydney for a month. Now, I don't know how much that aerial was worth, but by God, he didn't enjoy the camp in Sydney. He came back and he finished up as a wireless operator gunner, and he finished up passing out on, I think it was course 5, which I think was tremendous that he kept at it.
Now, when you left to go to the Middle East, how many flying hours do you think you would have had by that stage?
Say that again.
No, this for Jack. How many flying hours do you think you might have had?
3, possibly 4.
3.
Well, there were so many being trained. I mean, you got a term, but that was all. As long as you passed the test of operating the radio, that was it. Because you didn't have to fly the thing. You were a passenger.
Peter, your initial flying experiences. Can you just describe that? As I said, my inclination would be to say you're an aspiring fighter pilot rather than bomber pilot, but you might have a view.
Well, I did my initial elementary flying at Narrandera, number 8 elementary flying training school at Narrandera. It took me 8 hours to go solo, and the weather at Narrandera was great for flying. It was good for cross countries. It was good for local flying. The worst thing that happened to me, of course, was I was flying around one day and I felt like a cigarette. So I found a nice paddock and landed the aircraft, was having a quiet cigarette underneath the wing when somebody flew across. So I thought it was about time that I went back home. I did. I was taken up before the flight commander. The flight commander took me up before the CO, and I got confined to barracks for, God knows, I can't remember how long, but it certainly spoiled the little romance that I had going with a girl in the town of Narrandera.
I don't know about you, but every question that Peter answers makes him more like a fighter pilot in my mind than anything else. But anyway, Maury, your training as a wireless operator, because it obviously sowed the seeds of interest for subsequent life in you. But
yes.
What was it like?
Well, I've always been technically minded, and at summers we went to the ITS, Initial Training School, and we were asked, what do you want to be? And everybody said a pilot. And so did I. And then I said, well, I've always wanted to learn about radio. Well, that was the king hit. That was it. So up to Ballarat and started the training. And I've kept at it.
When you left to go to the UK, how many flying hours would you have had by that stage?
We had about 50 at Ballarat and about 15 at Sale on the gunnery course in the old ferry battles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which fought in the Battle of France, they told us, and still had bullet holes in them. The old ferry battles. They were a terrible machine.